Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, teared up on Thursday during a press conference about extending childcare. According to Associated Press, Trudeau, who is in his final days as Prime Minister, is also in the midst of a trade war with US President Donald Trump. The 53-year-old leader spoke during the press conference in Ottawa and became visibly emotional when he talked about his time in office. "On a personal level, I've made sure that every single day in this office I put Canadians first, that I have people's backs," Trudeau said. "And that's why I'm here to tell you all that we got you. Even in the very last days of this government, we will not let Canadians down today and long into the future." Later in the day Thursday, Trump postponed 25% tariffs on many imports from Mexico and some imports from Canada for a month amid widespread fears of the economic fallout from a broader trade war. But Trump emphasized that he still plans to impose reciprocal tariffs starting on April 2nd.
Personal level, I've made sure that every single day in this office, I put Canadians first, that I have people's backs. And that's why I'm here to tell you all that we got you. Even in the very last days of this government, we will not let Canadians down today and long into the future. Because in the past few weeks, we've been working with our provincial and territorial partners to make sure that families can rely on this system, not just for years to come, but will allow this system to lock in, to become something that no government, a year from now, 5 years from now, 20 years from now, could ever go back on. And it's hard to do, because there is nothing one government can't do that can't be undone by the following government. Unless Canadians are very clear on the need to keep this going. So we are going to make sure that more Canadians over the coming years understand that childcare is a foundational building block of what it means to be Canadian, like healthcare, or social programs, or cheering at a Canadian anthem. Today, we have great news to share. We've reached a deal with 11 of 13 provinces and territories to extend current early learning and childcare agreements until March 2031.
In the Pokrovsk direction, Russian troops are already facing serious problems. At the same time, even on its own territory in the Kursk region, Russia is conducting a counter-offensive campaign extremely slowly. It has been going on for almost 7 months. This was stated in an interview with Glavred by military political observer of the Information Resistance Group, Alexander Kovalenko, answering the question of how long Russia will be able to fight if it is not given a break. According to him, in the area of responsibility of the Dnieper group of troops, which covers the left bank Kherson region and the Zaporizhia region up to the Orekov direction and Hulyai, there is currently practically no activity by Russian forces. Kovalenko noted that enemy troops are still attempting to operate on the Kherson Islands and in the Zaporizhia region, but compared to the Pokrovsk direction, the Kurakovsky salient, or the Liman-Kupiansk axis, their activity is significantly lower. Despite the fact that Dnieper is one of the largest groups of troops, it remains the least proactive. In the first half of 2025, Russia will be so exhausted that it will lose the ability to hold the defense. It will be able to conduct offensive actions by inertia and exclusively with human resources. That is, now everything is being transformed into an exclusively infantry component, and this was expected. In such a situation, discontent in the army is growing. The Russians are now completely switching to an infantry format, and this does not produce results, Kovalenko points out. The analyst noted that if earlier Russia could seize 600 to 700 square kilometers of territory per week at the peak of its capabilities, now this figure has dropped to 100 to 200 square kilometers. At the same time, personnel losses per square kilometre have increased 2 to 3 times. This leads to significant exhaustion of Russia, both militarily and economically. Recall that, as media previously reported, Ukrainian troops are conducting counterattacks in the east and have made progress in the Toretsk direction in the Donetsk region. Despite the superiority of Russian forces several months ago, Ukrainian defenders are actively counterattacking in Toretsk and its environs, advancing into the city that the Russian Federation previously declared occupied. Forbes reports. According to geolocation footage published on February the 28th, the Ukrainian Defense Forces were able to gain a foothold in the area of Tolbukin Street and near the central mine in the central part of Toretsk, the Institute for the Study of War notes.
A demonstration in support of Ukrainian servicemen held in Russian captivity has been staged in front of the U.S. Embassy in capital Kiev, Ukrainian media reported. The participants of the demonstration demanded that the captured servicemen be exchanged on the principle of all for all without any prior agreement. The protesters said that there can be no talk of any agreement without the return of the prisoners of war. An agreement between the parties can only be signed after the return of the servicemen to their homeland. The participants of the demonstration held banners with slogans, "Release Ukrainian prisoners." USA is a great country. You can do it, no deals without freedom of UA POWs, ready for peace? Bring back POWs first, Russia hides Ukrainian prisoners of war. It should be noted that this is the first protest staged in front of the U.S. Embassy in Kyiv since U.S. suspended military assistance to the country.
Дуже багато родичів військовополонених.